Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome, everybody. This is Rachel. Thank you so much for joining me for Real Talk with Rachel on Butterfly Dreams Radio. For those of you who don't know me, I've been a sexual abuse recovery coach since 2007, and I'm also the author of Beyond Surviving, the Final Stage of Recovery from Sexual Abuse. I work with survivors who are sick and tired of feeling broken and unfixable, and I help them let go of the pain of abuse and move on with their lives. So everyone who's joining us tonight, you are in for such a treat. I am so excited to have here with me three amazing folks who are going to be sharing with us 3 ways that you can reclaim your sexuality and enjoy relationships, intimacy, and your body. So this is sure to be a great ménage à trois. So first, I'd really like to tell you a little bit about my guest. Valerie Taormina is a certified sexologist currently working in the Greater Bay Area, and her focus is on expanding male sexuality and assisting men with overcoming sexual trauma and emotional blockage. But her essential purpose is to help men and women develop a deep level of self-love and fulfillment. She helps individuals from all backgrounds fall deeply in love with themselves and reconnect with their bodies, so that they might create their purpose and live a life filled with sexual, intellectual, and emotional satisfaction. Who doesn't want that? That's amazing. And you can reach out to Valerie by emailing her at coachvaleriet@gmail.com. And I'll be repeating that throughout the show, so you'll have plenty of opportunity to snag it. And it's also there on the webpage for tonight's show. Now, also with us tonight are Ben and Jen Rode. They are living their life purpose, helping women bring in their man, money, and purpose, and helping them to fully embody the divine feminine while honoring and supporting the divine masculine. They have created their own healing modality that uses the state of orgasm to plant post-hypnotic suggestions or affirmations. They are continuing to tear down the restrictions that have been placed on female sexuality and are paving the way for all kinds of sexual healers to emerge through their upcoming TV show. They are here to make sexual healing mainstream and to normalize explosive sexual healing by making it the next hypnotherapy, the next Reiki, the next talk therapy. So to learn more about their work, definitely visit explosivesexualhealing.com. So Valerie, welcome.
Thank you, Rachel. It's exciting to be here.
Definitely. Ben, Jen, welcome.
Here we are. We made it.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
I'm so glad that you're here. Now, if you're listening to us online now, you can call in at 347-215-7754 and press 1 if at any time you have a question for any of the folks on tonight's panel. And you can also use the chat room and type questions there if you'd like. So all throughout the show, if anything comes up or if anything's not landing or clear, definitely feel free to chime in and ask some questions. So we have so much great information. All of you are so experienced and so just experts in your field and what you do. And I want to get right to it so we can really share with our listeners the amazing information that you all have. So to get us started, I wonder if we could just start with, sharing what you've discovered causes sexual blocks. What's happening? What's creating these places where people are not really being able to express themselves sexually?
I think there are too many of us here to all talk at one time.
Okay,
well,
how do we Rochambeau over the
I know,
like
Rochambeau. Okay, I'm going to have to call on you guys. Ben, why don't we start with you? Why don't you name one of the main sexual blocks that you see happening and occurring, particularly for women?
So one of the, obviously the main way that this happens is the way that we all think about is by sexual abuse happening as a child, right? But what we don't think about is that sexual abuse can happen just by being told not to masturbate, or by being told that you're not beautiful, or that there's a different body type is beautiful. That's all a form of sexual abuse. And so, what this does is it makes us hold back. So instead of when we're fully integrated in our sexuality, we are we're in love with ourselves, right? We're in love with every part of ourselves. Our sexuality is at the base of who we are as humans. And so when we have some kind of a block to our sexuality, it just, it mutes who we are as a person. And so we're not able to love as deep. We're not able to be loved as deep. We're not able to go out and be fully seen, fully heard in our business. We're not able to fully step into our life purpose because there's that fear is there. And we think that we need to stay in our job and earn a paycheck because I won't be able to survive outside of my job because we don't value ourselves, and we're told that it's just not possible. So that's what I got for now.
Yeah, got it. Jen, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, I was just going to take it in a totally different direction, but I think it all fits together. I mean, sexual shame is at the base and foundation of our society and our culture. And, as much as we feel like we've evolved from, puritanical times, we really haven't, unfortunately. And so there's so much there that's kind of at the root, and it's kind of deeply embedded. It's so deeply embedded in our culture that we're not even fully aware that it's there. And, right now our culture is simultaneously selling through sex and shaming through sex. Yeah. And it's two different ends of the spectrum. And really what we're moving toward is just sexuality. We need food, we need water, we need shelter, we need sex. And for that to just be a basic natural human need. So I think when we have blocks around basic human needs because we have shame around a basic human need, which is our sexuality, that affects every single aspect of our life.
Yeah, it'd be like being told we're not allowed to eat. It's like being shamed for eating.
Yeah.
We have to eat to live. So we're eating, but we're feeling shame about it every time we do it.
Absolutely.
It's not useful.
Yeah, and it does affect every aspect of our lives. Yeah, and, as somebody who's working with survivors of sexual abuse, of course, shame just comes in immediately. It gets all tied up and associated with sex. It becomes this kind of big ball of yarn that has to be untangled. Certainly see that with my clients over and over again. Valerie, what would you add there?
Yeah, I just love hearing you guys, Ben and Jen. I really love hearing what you said.
We love hearing you too, Valerie.
I love you guys.
You're our favorite.
No, to tag along with the shame conversation, I like to think of trauma, including sexual blocks, is really anything that takes you out of fully experiencing your body and diminishes anything that diminishes your self-worth. So a lot of people, I said this in the articles that I just recently wrote with you, Rachel, but so many people think, trauma, they think, sexual trauma, they think rape, they think molestation, they think things like that. And there's so many basic things that take us out of our body. Ben mentioned body image, that's a huge one. Socioeconomic levels can be a factor. Whether, you feel like you were poor growing up or didn't have enough money, that can play a role. Your race and the different stereotypes about race and, there's a big conversation about, what's better, dark-skinned vaginas or light-skinned vaginas, and people are bleaching their vaginas, it's crazy.
Right.
You don't like the color of your vagina. It's just, it's not crazy. It's just that's the world we live in right now, right? But when these societal pressures, they exist, and since they exist, we take ourselves away from our body. We're shamed, like Jen said. We're shamed. We feel less than a person, or we don't feel like the norm. And what happens is a numbing happens. So we start to break away from our own body because we don't want to feel that painful thing. And so it happens on a body level. It's not just spirit. It's actually on the physical, and you become you start to numb and disconnect, and sexual disconnection. I mean, you think about sex, it's such an intimate thing to be allow someone into that space, and to also feel confident enough to play in that space, that when that self-worth diminishes, you just stop wanting to play. It's like really scary to put yourself out there. So it's easier to just numb it, And I think most of the people walking around in this world are numb. There's different there's different variation of numbness. We're not all the same. But there's a degree of numbness that exists in our society around.
Yeah, we all have more than we're capable of.
Right.
Or that we think we're capable of.
So let me see if I can just kind of capture a little bit of what all of you have been pointing to, is that there are these various experiences that we have, and along a very broad spectrum, from something like maybe being teased about how you look or how your body is, to all the way up to something like rape. And all along that spectrum, when we have those experiences, what's happening is that it's creating a disconnect between ourself, our spirit, and our physical body, that then blocks us from being able to engage in intimate relationships, enjoy sex, have a good time in bed, maybe even perform sexually or have an orgasm. Am I on the right track here?
Definitely.
Yes. You're doing great, Rachel.
Good. Yay. So, yeah, and I think that's really a really amazing thing that you guys are bringing to the table as far as understanding, because, and Jim, what you said about this push and pull, this tension in our world to at one point be totally self-expressed, sex anywhere, anytime, get it 24/7, and yet there's also this amazing shame and pressure, and don't talk about that, and don't say the word masturbation, don't say the word vagina and penis, and just stay away from that. Is also, I think, contributing to that. Have you seen that as well with the clients that you're working with?
Yeah, and well, that's exactly the thing, is that, we, like Jen said, selling through sex and then shaming through sex. So it's like, we're sold, we're basically sold porn as a society, in every ad, in every, magazine cover, in every commercial, and then we get shamed about porn and everything else.
Yeah, and right now the appeal of sexuality is the shame. So right now we've got a polarity response around sexuality. In other words, we're part of the draw of it is because, ooh, that's bad, or ooh, that's shameful, or ooh, that's dirty. That's the draw, that's the appeal. And yeah, what a lot of the work that we're doing is just moving to that this is just natural, this is normal, this is healthy, and it doesn't need to be weird. It's not weird. We're born through sex. We're made through sex. This is where we come from.
And that everybody has a different expression of sex, and a different, they like different things, they want different things, they need different things, and so they think, everybody thinks that, they need to be a different way. And that's actually one of the biggest, just across the board things that we've noticed with our clients, is that everybody thinks they need to be somebody different.
Yes.
Everybody. Women with small breasts wish they had big breasts because they were made fun of for being flat growing up. Women with big breasts wish they had small breasts because they've
petite,
been because they've been made fun of, or not made fun of, but whistled at and objectified growing up, and so they wish they had small breasts. And so we actually started weekly calls with all of our women, conference calls where they could actually meet each other and talk to each other and talk about what's going on for each other, to really understand that everybody is going through this. I mean, we have women that are making 7 figures a year. They're going through the same thing as, a college student. Underneath the facade, we're all the same. We're all the same people, and we just need to, all we need to do is accept who we are and what we want. And there's no right and there's no wrong. There's just what I want, and that's okay.
Yeah,
nice.
I love what. Oh, go on.
Go ahead, Jen. Yeah, no. I know, it's like everything is popping. Go.
I was going to say really briefly, you know, touching on that unique expression, that unique sexual expression of each individual person is beautiful and perfect as well. And it does look different for each person. It sounds different. The movement is different. And, you know, just like we all like different types of food, it's like that sexual expression is so different and unique for each individual, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can I tag on to that, or?
Please, yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, is that it's our expression, but actually our bodies are different. And, like, what actually works physically for one person, like what is ideal, it varies among people. Like, you know, smaller penises, bigger penises, there's shorter vaginas, longer vaginas, there's clitorises that are external and ones that are more internal, and body types vary, and there's not a right or wrong. There's a match for everyone. But, like, to think there's, like, you know, one right way for your body to be is crazy when you think of how varied our bodies actually are. Like, they're very
I
different.
think that's a good point.
Oh, man, I could just talk forever. I know you wanted to say something, Rachel.
Well, no, I think you guys are heading in the right direction. I mean, what I'm really hearing you say is that, you know, these blocks are caused from a wide spectrum of things, but what you're noticing over and over again as maybe one of the first things that is helpful in beginning the work of removing these blocks is just this awareness that you're okay. You're really okay. There's nothing bad or wrong about you or your body. And getting into that space of self-acceptance it almost sounds like that's the first step, or that's the doorway into really beginning to remove these blocks and reclaim your sexuality. Am I hearing that right?
It's all about radical self-acceptance.
Yes, radical self-love. Yes.
I would add on one step before that, though. I mean, obviously it's great to accept yourself the way you are.
And then I have a step after that.
I think it's really good to just get clear on what you actually want and, like, what your desires really are, and, like, be willing to actually look at yourself and look at your sexuality, and just, I don't know if that's before or after that acceptance. I mean, either way, I guess it's great. But I think that's a very critical piece, is to actually look at, what do I desire? What do I like? How does my body work? Like, really get to know your body. And then, you know, within all that, accept it. It's not something that's bad.
Yeah, that makes sense. To spend some time in reflection, really getting connected to what your desires are, what you like, what you dislike. And certainly something that I see with survivors is there's an additional layer that has to do with disconnecting your desires from the abuse, getting rid of that old junky story that the reason why you like sex a particular way or the reason why you're turned on by a particular thing is because you were abused, right? Disconnecting that and really owning and accepting your desires, and then coming into that place of acceptance with whatever they are.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Yeah. So that's the first thing that we do is figure out where is she being hard on herself. We work with primarily women, so I'm going to talk in terms of she, and we'll let Valerie talk in terms of he.
Perfect.
The first thing we do is we get her in a place where she's just loving herself for exactly who she is, for exactly what she likes, what she needs, what she wants, and then the next step is taking whatever it is that she's used to doing and doing the exact opposite. And we create new patterns for her, because she comes in and she's like, okay, what I've been doing hasn't been working, so, you know, let's create new patterns. And so women that are used to being loud, we get them to be quiet. Women that are used to being quiet in the bedroom, we get them a little bit louder. Women that are used to being outside of their body, we get them inside their body. If they're used to being inside their body, we get them outside their body. You know, if they're used to moving their body, we get them still. If they're used to being still, we get them moving. You know, whatever it is, there's benefit to doing something different, not in terms of it's better, it's just different, right? It activates different parts of the brain. It activates new neural pathways.
And it also brings the body and brain into balance. So, for us, for instance, many of our clients are very much in their masculine because they're heads of networks and they're really powerful women. And so they tend to take that masculinity into the bedroom. And it's not a right or wrong, but when our masculine is doing more than our feminine side, there's something about bringing that into balance that just creates harmony in the body, and that creates harmony in their sexual experience as well.
Right,
Exactly.
right. I love this idea of just almost like one way of removing these blocks is just do something different. Just almost like flip the switch in the other direction and see what happens, because you fall into these, routines, and that's for anyone really in sex, regardless of what's going on. You can fall into these routines, you fall into these patterns, these almost rote ways of expressing yourself or showing up in the bedroom. And so if you're starting to feel kind of blocked or stuck, just see what happens if you just do the complete opposite, have the complete opposite experience for a night or for a moment.
Yeah. I'll give you an example of what happened with Jen and I when we first started our relationship. So, and we got married, before we dated or, anything.
We met and married in a month.
And so our sex was so bad. I mean, we were it was the worst sex either one of us have ever had. And so I thought she was horrible. She thought I was horrible. Of course, neither one of our egos wanted to believe that we were horrible.
Out loud.
Yeah. No, we were saying I was saying you were horrible, and she was saying I was horrible.
Awesome.
What's that?
I don't know if I've ever heard this part of the story.
Oh, really? Oh, man.
Oh, you have. You probably just forgot.
I'm sure. So yeah, what we realized is that we were just having sex different ways, there are three different styles of sex, of three different types of ways that people have sex. And there's partner engagement, erotic trance, and role play. I was partner engagement, which is, like a romance movie where you're making out and, looking each other in the eyes, and it's passionate and you're rolling around. Jen was erotic trance, where she's like fully in her body, fully just in her own presence, right? And so in her own experience. And so anytime I would go to kiss her, she's like, whoa, why is he pulling me out of my erotic trance? And I'm, and so I'm like, wait, why isn't she making out with me? I want to connect with her. And so, so right as she'd, start to orgasm, or she'd like get close to orgasm, and I'd start to lose my erection because I want connection. So I start to kiss her for connection, pull her out of her erotic trance, and then she loses her orgasm. But then I get my boner back, and so then, then we go back into erotic trance.
Missing each other, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so what we really started doing was, instead of me blaming her and her blaming me, I said, okay, tonight we're going to do it your way. I'm going to learn erotic trance so I can learn to be inside my own body, right? Because that is the benefit of erotic trance, is being inside my own body. And so I learned how to be inside my own experience instead of being focused on her. And then the next night we would focus on partner engagement. We would focus on connection, eye gazing, making out, which is great for building intimacy in a relationship. And so there's, no sexual style is better than the other. It's just sexual mastery comes from mastering all of them. And so it's just so important to do something new.
Yeah. So we have a couple of people on the line who've raised their hand with a question, but before I call on you, I see you there, so don't hang up. I know you're there. But I want to give Valerie a chance to address this piece before I take these questions sitting here. Valerie, what do you notice, particularly around, your work with men, are some of the ways that you found to really help break through these blocks and help men reclaim their sexuality?
Well, I think the biggest one is actually creating a very safe place for them to actually talk, for them to actually share themselves. So for me, that the beginning process of going through like an intake form and going through their full sexual history and really creating a clearing for them to just like talk about their shame is a really huge piece. Because for a lot of these men, they've never, and women too, I don't want to say this isn't true for women, but I think it's even harder for men. For a lot of men that I work with, like actually saying out loud what's been locked up in their heads and in their hearts their whole entire life is a shedding process. I mean, it is painful.
Yeah.
And there's really, it's like, one thing that I've noticed, because I do work with some women as well, but mostly I work with men. But the real difference is I find that men, because of the way that we masculinize our men in our society, and there's very little room for vulnerability. There's very little room, to show emotion. So what happens is like when something happens, so an event happens and they show emotion, and then someone shuts them up. You're not supposed to cry. Don't do that, or they're teased or something happens. This real hardening happens, like in their, I don't know, you could say in their hearts, but that's more just metaphorical. But, it happens where they just close down. They close down, and it's an extremely effective survival mechanism for them, to just close down, don't feel, and lock, like throw away the key. And so, so for men, their hearts are like more closed down, I guess you could say, like it's harder to open up those shells. And so that conversation and creating safety for them, like I'm not going to be made fun of here. Like it's okay to be vulnerable in this space. It's okay to talk about my desires. It's okay to talk about love. It's okay to actually, want to be held and to be sad about not having the love I want, or to, about my partner cheating on me, or the fact that I don't really like my body. Like that space is critical for men. It's absolutely critical. And I will say for like women out there listening, like if you can make like a change right now, I would say like try to create a safe place for the men in your lives. Like applaud them when they show emotion. Not that you're trying to make everyone cry or something, but it's just like it's a healthy part of like being human, and and that safety will something else can emerge out of that safe place, and I guarantee that it'll be beautiful.
Yeah, I love that, and I want to say I'll be brief, but it is the same thing with women, because it's all the deepest, darkest shame. It's all the stuff that that male and females don't want other people to know about them. It's the stuff they're holding in. It's all about the sexuality. And so I love what you said about the intake form, Valerie. It's that's often a huge opening for everybody, because it's really oftentimes the first time that she's ever talked about her sexual history, and gone into the deepest traumas, and then also into the deepest intimacy and the best sex she's ever had, and put all that out on paper and give it to us, strangers, and so the antidote to shame is exposure. When you're ashamed of something, you hold it down and you don't look at it, you don't talk about it, you hide it behind lock and key, and so when you talk about it, you expose it, and it disappears.
Yeah.
So it disappears and normalizes.
Yeah. And what I think is really beautiful about what you guys are capturing in this moment is that, sexuality without, your spirit, whatever that means to you, or that connection to who you are emotionally, to your character, it always falls flat. It's always going to be empty or missing something, right? And so certainly, reconnecting to that part of you, and then also being able to reconnect to the physicality and enjoy that, it's when those two things really come together that you have those really yummy, wonderful moments, right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Absolutely. So I'm going to call on this caller. We're going to take a pause here, I think, and see now. We'll see if I get this done right or not. We'll give it a shot. But
it's probably time for a break coming in any minute.
I know the area code is 815, and so I'm just going to take you off mute here. Give it just a second to connect. Hello, are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. And what's your name?
My name's Donald.
Hi, Donald. Thanks for joining us. Did you have a question?
Pleasure. I apologize for joining late. I like what I've heard already.
Great. What's been helpful so far?
What you're saying is it's not repetitive, but it reminds me of my weekend's recovery of going to Bangor, Pennsylvania, or Alta, Utah, and being with other men who were hurt similarly by either traumatic, physical, sexual, or mental abuse at a very young age, and how that affected their upbringing and their life and their relationships.
Definitely.
I just posted on Facebook. I moved it from my page onto yours, a rather long post that I put out, and that post triggered a lot of people to call me because I was writing about somebody who committed suicide. And it's been a rough couple of days. I'm kind of exhausted, mentally, physically. But that...
Thank you for being on the call despite your state of being. Thank you for calling in. It took something for you to pick up the phone. Like, really, thank you for being here.
Thanks. That intimacy, that developing a relationship where you're peeling back layers of the onion and getting to the real ugly part, and since you already warned the person before they met you that, hey, you don't want to mess around with me, I'm an asshole. In that the thinking, our screwed up thinking that we thought just because we warned them from the get-go, that gave us the right to do whatever we wanted to them, and that they weren't human. And, man, if, I can make a radio amends to all the people, I would do it. I go back and try to make the amends to those that I can without that it wouldn't be damaging to them. And even I have to admit that the relationships, I went back pretty far, and I couldn't even get into saying what I was sorry about with one person who was very special to me and our family, and her name was Grace, and she saw me on LinkedIn.
So, Donald, really what I hear you saying there is you're just really present to and noticing how the impact, that this isn't like an individual thing, that it carries over and it impacts our relationships and how we show up for other people, and that sometimes we end up showing up in ways that we regret and we feel bad about, and making those choices and decisions from this place of hurt. That's so understandable and so normal.
It's like taking that pond of calm and serenity, and out of the blue, all of a sudden you throw a cinder block into the center of it, and that ripple effect, that collateral damage is just horrific sometimes.
Yeah. So, then, Jen or Valerie, any of you have, thoughts for Donald about, how to address and how to deal with that kind of ripple effect, and what you're hearing? What are you coming up with, or what are you sensing, wanting to say to Donald in this moment?
Hi, Donald. Can I address Donald, please? I've been waiting. I've wanted to address you, Donald. I just want to give you like a big hug right now, like a really big hug. So if you can feel that somehow, like, I don't know, energetically, if you believe in that, like, I'm giving you a hug. Before I really address Rachel's question, I just want to go back and kind of reframe something that you said. When you were talking about the onion, you said, the way I heard that you heard it was that when you peel back the layers of the onion, it's really ugly under there. And there are parts that you might find very ugly for yourself, right? The shameful parts, the parts that you hide that you don't want anyone to see. But from my experience, once you get down in there into the core, what's underneath that shame, when you get really authentic, is pure love. And it's actually absolutely beautiful. Like, that's where the magic is. is really in your heart when you're allowing yourself to feel. So it's like there's this fear around feeling like, oh my God, if I open up, it's going to be ugly. I'm going to scare people. People are going to run away. No one's going to want to love me if I show that part of myself. And what I see is actually when you peel that away, when you get down to the core, you get to that part that's like human. That part that we all need love. We all want to make other people feel good. You know, we want to be connected. We want to make a difference in the world. Like, you want those things, right, Donald?
Yeah, I definitely overachieved for being retired for 10 years, yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and maybe you're not totally present to all those things, but that's usually, and I'm speaking just from, just from the clients that I've worked with. I haven't worked with the whole world, obviously, but from the clients I've worked with, when you really get through all the crap, all the sludge and all the stuff that, I don't see it as sludge, by the way. I'm like, everything's beautiful, but when, the stuff that you perceive as sludge, then you really get to the light, to, like, the really positive things, to the,
yes.
What do I really want to do with my life? What type of partner do I really want? Like, when you stop shaming yourself around your looks, you oftentimes stop shaming other people. So instead questions, like I work with a lot of CEO clients. I work, with all different types of men and women. But my CEO clients, they really struggle with, they want to, marry the woman that looks like Barbie, that all their bros, like, think they're supposed to marry. Like, she has to be, these, I don't know, like 36, 24, 36, and whatever. And when you get through all of, like, the layers, all of a sudden he's like, I want someone with a big smile. I want someone that, will sit down with me and, like, watch a movie. I just want someone who's, like, I can, like, rock with in a rocking chair when I'm old. And all of a sudden, all of that stuff, like, we put these parameters on ourselves, and we also put them on other people. So you start getting to get really real. And that's, like, really awesome. So I would just not be, like, afraid of that place within you.
Awesome. So, Valerie, I'm going to pause you there and give Donald a chance to get kind of complete about that, and so that we can make room for everybody. But I want to just give you a chance, Donald. Like, what are you hearing, or what are you taking away from that? What do you see as something that you can take from what you just heard that could make a difference for you in the next, day or two or week?
My wife, I met her when she was 18, and I was like 26. We were married, divorced for 9 years, and then we started dating again, and we've been remarried since July 15th of 1995. And it's, and the second time around has been honest, open. She's my confidant, my best friend. There's nobody I would rather be with. I don't know what I would do if I lost her. But the thing is that I can't, being my first indoctrination to sex was being, brutally raped and strangled by our parish priest at 13. And my second sexual experience was I turned 14 2 months later, and that New Year's Eve, I was with a girl for New Year's Eve, and she slept over, and I was raped by her. So it was, it was kind of, it was a rough start, and yet I still found those special moments, the things like holding hands and stuff like that, and going to normal things like football and basketball games, and trying to do that normal high school thing, and yet I still had that macho. My damage was buried so deep. It didn't come out till 33 and a half years later in 2002 when it all broke up in Boston in March of 2002. So, and then the nightmares started coming back, the night terrors. And
so, Donald, what I'd love for you to do is shoot Valerie an email. Do you have a pen and paper handy?
Sure.
I would love to talk to you, Donald.
Yeah, I definitely think there's more to be said, and I think all of us are feeling that. There's just so much to say on this topic, and you can certainly reach out to me as well. But, yeah, Valerie's email is coachvaleriet@gmail.com. And, I think it would be...
Coach Valerie?
Yeah, COACH.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Rachel.
COACHVALERIE, T as in Tom, at Valerie at gmail.com. Yeah, get in touch with her. Yeah, get in touch with her, or you can also email me, and I can connect you to. And let's continue the conversation. I think that there's more to be said for sure, and we can get you some support and get you some resources and help you on this path. It sounds like you've grown quite a lot and made some, huge strides. And we just want to get you to that next level, and that you can enjoy that honey of yours and in your life. How's that sound?
Yeah. Well, the 9 years of psychotherapy definitely helped, and I still attend, the program. I'm in the program and clean and sober, 25 years from the heroin and 8 years from the alcohol. So doing good.
Got it.
I'm doing good.
Awesome.
Donald, I want to acknowledge you. I want to really acknowledge you for calling and sharing your story. And men, really, sharing with other men helps everybody open up. So, what you did was, a contribution to this call, so much. I really want you to know that.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Donald. We'll talk to you soon,
Thank you for having shows like this. Okay.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Awesome. Take care.
Bye, Donald.
Yeah, so I mean that right there, is just thank you really, Donald, for sharing your story. And so many men are coming up against dealing with the impact of sexual abuse. And we know women for many years have been fighting to get heard and to get seen on this topic. And just in the last couple of years, men really have started, coming out and speaking more about their stories. And it is so important, like you say, Valerie, that they know that they can have a voice, that they can be heard, that it's not shameful, it's not something to be embarrassed about, and that in doing so they actually are helping so many other men be able to speak up and be heard as well.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I mean, I'm really touched by Donald right now. He just reminds me of so clients, and
Me too.
you can really hear the big heart, just inside, it's just so bright. I don't know. So.
So, Ben and Jen, I want to give you guys a chance to chime in here. We do have a couple of other people raising their hand, and we can certainly just go that direction and take those calls, but I also want to be aware of our time, too, and just, anything that you're really present to or wanting to make sure gets said, and what's coming up for you guys is your... Donald or anything else,
I would love to answer questions. That's my favorite. So if people have questions, I would love to answer questions.
Yeah. Questions. Bring them on. What do you got?
Bring them on. Okay. Got it. So we'll do questions. So just keep in mind that we're gonna try to state your question as briefly as possible, so we can get as many people in these last 10 minutes of the show or so. So I'm gonna call on you. Your area code 228. Give it just a second. Hello, are you there?
Yes.
Hi. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Patricia.
Hi, Patricia. Thanks so much for being with us. Did you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I do have a question. I have when I was in the military, I was raped, and I've been going through sexual identity problems because of it. And I'm 47 now. I haven't had a sexual relationship with a male in about 20-some years, and it's just hard for me to. I'm feeling like I want to, but it's a feeling of being dominated, and I just can't get over it. And I'm just trying to see if you may have any kind of suggestions on how to deal with it or even accept that challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go
Yeah,
briefly.
Jen or Ben, do either of you guys have some advice for Patricia?
Yeah. So the magic is always where the edge is. So the part of you that feels dominated, that's the part that needs to be gone deep into. And I'm sure there's more there, but that was what came up. That was what you said. So what we always encourage people to do is to figure out what the deepest of the deep is. And that sounds like there's some gold in there. So you don't necessarily need to go into it by actually getting yourself into a situation where you don't necessarily need to go have sex with a man, but you can do it in meditation, or you can do it by having sex with a man and just noticing what's going on inside and then what's behind that, and just let yourself feel that, let yourself cry, let yourself be in that. In the last blog that I wrote, my second blog in the series was about shaking it out. So that's something that can be shaken out. That's something that when you're feeling coming up about being dominated, if you have someone there, if the man that you're with can hold space for you to get pissed off and to yell at him and to scream at him and to thrash and scream and say stop and just completely lose your shit, and he can still hold space for you and send you love and send you just that energy to let you know that you're perfect just the way you are right now, and that this is your choice. Whatever you want is whatever you get. And if you want him to stop, he stops. And if you want him to continue, he continues. And that's where the deep work happens.
Yeah, I have been doing meditation and stuff like that, and I have been getting like a very strong sexual urge. The thing is, I haven't been with a man in about 20 years. I don't even know how or where to start. I just have these sexual urges, and so I'm really like afraid to even interact sexually with a man. So it's kind of like I don't know where to start. I don't know if I want to even open up. I don't know if it's you have to have this heart thing where you got to be attracted to him that type of way. Or I just it's kind of like I haven't been involved in relationships with men, so I really don't even know how to even approach the situation.
Yeah. So just really quick, Patricia, I'm just tapping into your energy, and I'm the woo-woo end of what we do, so bear with me. But as I tap into your energy, I can really feel that you have this really sensitive, wonderful, soft, feminine side to you that is yearning and longing for expression, and I'm actually getting emotional as I'm speaking. That's just calling out for expression, and that the masculine part of you has been working very hard, and he's done a wonderful job. I believe that we all have divine masculine and feminine in each of us, and I feel that your masculine has been working so hard to protect you. And I think that the yearning that you're longing for, the sexual longing, that you're experiencing right now, the urge, is for your feminine, that gentle side of you, for her to allow to express herself. So I just want to acknowledge that. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I kind of just got into even being able to express myself. And now all of the things that happened to me and in the past, so I'm really even just getting in touch. And I feel so bad because, like I said, I'm 47 years old, and I've never really been in touch with my feminine side, and It's real strange to me, and so yeah, I am having meditations, but it's kind of confusing because I'm having a very, very strong sexual urge, and I really don't know what to do with the energy. I really don't.
Well, Patricia, one thing, I just want to chime in here. First of all, the folks in the chat room are just cheering your praises. They are so encouraged by your story in the sense that just full of praise for your courage and 47 years young, someone says.
Yeah.
And and for sure. And it's one of the things that I notice about when I work with my clients is that as you are starting to kind of heal some of the things, some of the effects and the, like stripping away those layers that come on as a result of abuse or assault, that new parts of you start to open up and show up in the world, right? And I really love what Jen said almost of like just tapping into that feminine energy. I just imagined you totally out on like a girl day, and whatever girl day means to you, but embracing that and giving yourself some of that pampering, some of that time to just be soft, to just be tender, right? And most importantly, to notice that you can be soft and tender and it doesn't equal or mean that you're going to be attacked or hurt. That this hardness that you have put on or that you've tried to hold as a place of protection and safety that you no longer need.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Trying to tear down the guard is, I guess, the hardest part of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure any of us could probably work with you and help you in that space. So certainly follow up with us after the show, and we'll get you some resources, and we can talk to you more about how we can support you in embracing that feminine and expressing it and letting go of that edge. How's that sound?
Okay, that
Rachel,
sounds good.
Would it be okay? I have a burning comment to say to Patricia.
You're burning?
It's like burning within my soul right now. I want to get it out.
Well, this is the place for it. Okay, you've got 1 minute.
Okay.
1 minute to burn.
Hi, Patricia. This is Valerie speaking.
Hi, Holly.
Hi. So to piggyback back on what Jen said about masculine and feminine, a lot of people think that feminine energy is giving energy. We associate it with like the mother that's constantly like giving herself, right? But in reality, feminine energy is actually receiving and masculine is giving. So I would highly recommend you taking on a practice of receiving. And actually in my last blog, I actually wrote, it was tips for men, but there's a lot of women, like when women end up expressing their masculinity, these are really good tips that they can take on too. I mean, I think it's good for almost everyone, but I would highly recommend you taking on the receiving exercise. It's 30 days of receiving where you're actually asking for favors and for people to contribute to you in your life.
Ooh,
I think that would be
is
very
hard
helpful.
to do. That is like the hardest thing in my life.
I know, and it is, but it's going to help you work that muscle of receiving, and that is feminine. And then the second thing is, I think this might be edgy, but I think you should take on a 30-day self-love practice where you make love to yourself every day. Like, every day you set out time, you figure out new ways to do it, you have fun with it, like you romance yourself. Like, start there. You don't need a man right now. Like, that, I'm not saying that won't happen, but, like, start loving yourself first. Give to yourself. Like, let yourself receive. And just see what shows up. And I also highly suggest you talking to Ben and Jen. They're awesome. They're great.
Okay.
and Rachel, so try those things out.
That sounds good. That sounds good.
Patricia,
well, thanks
thank
a lot,
you so much for being with us.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you for being here and sharing your story with us. Oops. Okay, so see, this is my bad because I'm still a new radio host. I'm sorry, Patricia. It's a cliffhanger now. So I will I don't know what. I'm going to assume it was, I will pamper myself. I will self-love for 30 days. I will receive for 30 days. So awesome. So guys, I can't even believe we're like in the final moments of our show tonight. And so I want to, before I run out of time, I just want to make sure that everyone really knows how to get connected here tonight. So to reach out to Valerie, you're going to email her coachvaleriet @gmail.com. And you can reach Ben and Jen at www.explosivesexualhealing.com. And be sure to sign up for their newsletter and get lots of great support resources and also information about their upcoming events, workshops, trainings that are all just amazing. And, of course, you can visit me at rachelgrantcoaching.com to find more resources, more information about my program, Beyond Surviving, and, very importantly, links to the blog series that Ben, Valerie, and Jen have been writing over these past 6 weeks. And, in fact, the final post in that series is going to be out later this week. So be sure to be checking in for that and following up to read all that great information. So we've got about 4 minutes left, guys, so divided by 3, 1.2 each, to just final thoughts, words, whatever it is you'd really like to say to the folks listening tonight. Valerie, how about you start?
Oh, man, I just talked so much, though. Okay.
Valerie gets 3 minutes out of that 4.
You need a break?
No,
okay,
no,
you
no.
can take a break.
Ben, can you start? Ben, can you start? Because actually I just exhausted.
She needs to recover.
Sorry.
She shot her load.
No,
she needs to recover.
We don't have a whole lot left. So just say that we're moving away from one-on-one sessions and starting doing group sessions, doing group just trainings where we just talk about the theory of explosive sexual healing, the philosophy of explosive sexual healing, why it works, why we need to clear our shame, and just, we use a lot of NLP and hypnosis and communication stuff to just help people clear their own shit. I mean, we have half-hour phone consultations with people, and then all of a sudden, they call me saying, hey, I want sessions because I can't find my man, and then, half hour later, they go out and they find their man immediately. So we want to start having this impact on a much larger scale, and so we're looking at houses in LA right now. We're getting a huge retreat center. It's just gorgeous, and we want to have all of you in our beautiful, amazing retreat center.
Yeah, we just really want to shift the consciousness on a global scale around this, and we really want to get people talking about this and doing fun workshops and hands-on work around this to just process it out and really shift their world and shift their lives.
Yeah. Boom.
Bam.
It's all yours, Val.
There was a question about where the retreat center is located. So that's in process of being established in LA, right? Did I hear that correctly?
We don't know where yet. Yeah, it's
you
right
guys
now
are
we're
there
looking at
and
places.
sorting it out. Okay.
We're in LA County right now in Temecula, so we will let you know when we know.
Awesome.
Southern
Cool.
California.
Well,
Yeah.
Southern California. Okay. Cool. And Valerie?
Oh, I'll just say I'm very
recovered?
excited for this. I'm very excited for the retreat center. I know it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yay, it's going to be great. Well, we're Ben and Jen and I and Rachel. We're all on this team that really is trying to create a new conversation around sexuality in the world. And, for those of you on the call that have maybe dealt with sexual abuse, there have been traditional ways of dealing with that in the past, and I just want you to know that, the work that we do, we're sexologists, we're sexological body workers. It's a body-based approach to healing where you connect to your body, and it's a new modality. And I want you to know that it's available to you. Like, if you've tried everything and nothing's worked,
Then you got 15 seconds.
Connecting to your body
Sorry.
could be the next step.
Valerie, you got 15 seconds.
Okay, I'm done. That's it.
Okay. The hardest part. I hate this part of every show. It's like, how do I get everybody to say everything in the
Can I
right
go
second?
again?
You can't.
Can I
I warned you.
Okay.
We needed a month.
So
we did like
clearly,
a month series.
Clearly we're going to have a round 2, but what Valerie was saying, which we all stand by, is there's lots of ways to heal and find the way that works for you. And they're bringing in new ways, and you can come back here the second Tuesday of every month for Real Talk with Rachel. Clearly I'm going to have you guys on again. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Valerie, Jen, Ben, you guys are amazing. I love you all. I support everything you're up to.
Love you.
Good night, everyone. Good night, good night,
Thank
good night.
you. Good night.
Bye,
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.